Hey there, welcome back to Module 2. In Lesson 3, we are going to be talking about eating mindfully for weight loss. Have you ever been to the movies, start munching on your popcorn, and discovered that you're already touching the bottom of the bucket? Oh, and the previews aren't even over yet. The key is that mindless eating causes excess calorie consumption and makes us less likely to be full or satisfied with what we ate, which typically leads us to eat more. First, we want to discover how you eat, or otherwise known as your eating style. The first eating style is a careful eater. Typically, your triggers are fitness and health, and you tend to be a perfect eater on the surface, but you obsess over every little bite. Another eating style is a professional dieter. Your trigger is feeling fat. You are consistently dieting or trying the next new thing. Maybe you're an unconscious eater, or you eat while doing something at the same time. Eating is often paired with another activity, such as eating your lunch while sitting at your desk. Another eating style is a chaotic or unconscious eater, which is triggered by an overscheduled life. Maybe you find yourself having to gulp and go when food is available. A refuse-not eater is triggered by the presence of food. You are typically vulnerable to food that is out in the open. A waste-not eater is someone that is triggered by free food, and you're typically more susceptible to buffets and any free food that is available. The last eating style is an emotional eater. Uncomfortable emotions typically trigger eating, and you often will find yourself eating when alone. Now that we've gone through all of the eating styles, which ones stand out to you or describe your relationship with food? I have an action item for you. I want you to take just a minute to choose one or two eating styles that represent your relationship with food. With those, I want you to create a plan to change the response when the trigger occurs. We will talk a little bit more about this as we go along. Here's an example. An emotional eater typically is triggered by emotion. So, when the emotion occurs, you have a few options. Maybe try going for a walk, or writing in your journal. Maybe you can call a friend, or maybe you just need to get away from the food and out of the house. A refuse-not eater is typically triggered when there is food out in the open. So if this describes you, then you can have a plan ahead of time. Maybe you choose that you will only eat 2 items that will fill you up. Maybe you choose to avoid the scene and walk a different way, or don't look while walking by. Or maybe you decide to bring your own snacks so that you won't be tempted with others. The key point is that no matter what your goal, it's important to be aware of the food that enters your body. The next question to ask yourself is, where do you find yourself mindlessly eating? There are lots of places that you may find yourself mindlessly eating. Some of these places may include the car, or at your desk, or maybe at celebrations or parties. Think about where your mindless eating occurs most. I have another action item specific to your meals this week. For at least 3 meals, I want you to commit to mindfully eating. Take about 15 to 20 minutes, eliminate distractions, and pay attention to the food that is in front of you. As you eat, I want you to check in with your hunger and your fullness levels. Try different meals, such as one for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Maybe you have one meal that is easier to eat mindfully than another. It's all about exploration and finding your balance. And lastly, I want you to eat until you are 75 to 80% full.